Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha Krishna 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 Hey Krishna 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 Hey Krishna 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 Rakshama Krishna 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 Bhakti-ma Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rakshama Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Pahi-ma Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Pashyatya Desha Tarane Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jai Advaita Gadadhar Srivasa Adigor Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Hari Haraye Namaha Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopala Govinda Rama Sri Madhusudana Hari Haraye Namaha Om Apavitra Pavitro Va Sarva Avasthangato Va Yat Smaret Pundarik Aksham Sabhaya Abhyantara Suchihi Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Om Ajnana Timarandasya Jnana Anjana Shalakaya Chakshunmilitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mukam karoti vachalang panggang langayate giring yat kripa tamahang vandi Sri Gurum dinataranam. Yat kripa tamahang vandi Parama Ananda Madhavam. Trinadapi Sunichena Torad Iva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadina Kirtaniya Sadahari. Hare Nama Hare Nama Hare Nama Eva Kivalam Kalo Nastyeva 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 Gatir Anyatha. So, we only have 2 more classes and we will finish the prayers of the personified Vedas by the end of this month. Tonight we're doing 2 more episodes, and the first one is entitled Rasa. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Aikya Arna Koriho Mane Ash. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Prabhupada begins this scene by saying, thus the Veda Stuti, or the prayers offered by the personified Vedas to Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, were first narrated in disciplic succession by Sanandanan to his other 3 brothers, all of whom were born of Lord Brahma. And so, in the beginning, these 4 Kumaras were the first to be born of Brahma. Therefore, they are known as Purva Jata. Krishna states in chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita, Evang parampara praptang imang rajarshayo vedu sakale neha mahata yoganashta parantapa. My dear Arjuna, this supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in the course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. The parampara system, or disciplic succession, begins with Krishna himself. Similarly, here, in the prayers of the personified Vedas, it is to be understood that the parampara system begins with the personality of Godhead, Narayana Rishi. And we should remember that this Veda Stuti is being narrated by the Kumar Sanandana, and the narration is being repeated by Narayana Rishi in Badarik Ashram. Narayana Rishi is the incarnation of Krishna, showing us the path of self-realization by undergoing severe austerities. In this age, Lord Chaitanya demonstrated the path of pure devotional service, putting himself in the role of a pure devotee of Krishna. So, similarly in the past, Lord Narayana Rishi, an incarnation of Krishna, performed severe austerities in the Himalayan ranges. Sri Narada Muni was hearing from him, so in the statement given by Narayana Rishi to Narada Muni, as it was narrated by Kumara Sanandana in the form of the Veda Stuti, it is to be understood that God is the one supreme and all others are his servants. This is confirmed by the author of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, who says, Ekale Ishwara Krishna Arsava Mritya. Krishna is the only supreme God. Arsava Mritya. All others are Krishna's servants. Jare Jaiche Nachai Se Taiche Kare Nritya. The Supreme Lord, as he desires, is engaging all living entities in different activities, and thus they are exhibiting their different talents and tendencies. This Veda Stuti is the original instruction regarding the relationship existing between the living entity and their different talents and tendencies. This Veda Stuti is thus the original instruction regarding the existing relationship of the living entity and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The highest form of realization for the living entity is the attainment of devotional life. As stated by Krishna in his Gita, Yeshang tu antagatam papam jananang punyakarmanam te dvanva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridha vrata. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, are thus freed from the dualities of delusion, and so they engage themselves in my service with determination. One cannot be engaged in devotional life or Krishna consciousness unless he or she is fully free from material contamination. Narayana Rishi informed Narada Muni that the essence of all Vedas and Vedic literatures, namely the four Vedas, the Upanishads, the Puranas, etc., all of them teach the rendering of transcendental loving service to Lord Krishna. And in this connection, Narayana Rishi has used one particular word, rasa. In devotional service, this rasa is the via media, or the basic principle for exchanging a relationship between Krishna and the living entity. A rasa is also described in the Vedas as Ishavasya. The Supreme Lord is the reservoir of all pleasure. All the Vedic literatures, the Puranas, the Vedas, Upanishads, Vedanta Sutras, etc., all are teaching the living entities how to attain the stage of rasa. And the Srimad Bhagavatam also says that the statements of this Mahapurana or Srimad Bhagavatam contain the essential rasas in all Vedic literatures. Nigama kalpataror galitang phalam. The Bhagavatam indeed is the essence of the ripened fruit of the tree of Vedic literature. We understand that with the breathing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there issued forth the four Vedas, namely the Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Yajur Veda, and Atharva Veda, as well as the histories like the Mahabharata and all the Puranas, which are also considered to be the history of the world. The Vedic histories, like the Puranas and Mahabharata, are called the fifth Veda. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jasodanandana Gopi Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jasodanandana Gopi Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari. All right, here is the Narantara Vakya. Lord Chaitanya instructed Rupa Goswami as follows regarding this topic of rasa. Lord Chaitanya said, when one is fully attached to Krishna's lotus feet, one attains the stage called Shamatha. The word Shamatha is derived from the word Shama, or mental equilibrium. Therefore, Shantaras, the position of neutrality, means being fully attached to the lotus feet of Krishna. This is the verdict from the very mouth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. This state is also called self-realization. So that to me is very significant. I'm going to repeat that. So Shantaras means being fully attached to the lotus feet of Krishna. This state is also called self-realization. Giving up all desires not connected with Krishna is the business of one who is in Shanta Rasa. Only a devotee of Krishna can be situated on that platform. One is thus called a Shanta Rasa Bhakta. When a devotee is situated on the platform of Shanta Rasa, one desires neither elevation to the heavenly planets nor liberation from material bondage. For these two are the results of karma and jnana, and the devotee considers these no better than hell. A person situated on the platform of Shanta Ras manifests the two transcendental qualities of detachment from all material desires and full attachment to Krishna. So that's important. The two transcendental qualities of Shanta Ras, detachment from all material desires and full attachment to Krishna. These two qualities of the Shanta stage spread throughout the lives of all devotees. They are like the quality of sound in the sky, for sound vibration is found in all the other material elements. And it is the nature of Shanta Ras that not even the smallest intimacy with Krishna exists. Rather, knowledge of impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma is prominent. On the platform of Shanta Ras, one realizes only his or her constitutional position. But when one is raised to the platform of Dasya Rasa, one then better understands the full opulence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. On the Dasya Rasa platform, knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is revealed with awe and veneration. By rendering service unto the Lord, the devotee in Dasya Rasa gives constant happiness to the Lord. At the same time, the qualities of Shanta Ras are also present in Dasya Rasa, but service is added. Thus, the Dasya Rasa platform contains the qualities of both Shanta Ras and Dasya Ras. And the qualities of Shanta Ras and the service of Dasya Ras are both present on the platform of Sakya Ras. On this platform, also known as fraternity, the qualities of Dasya Ras are mixed with the confidence of fraternity instead of awe and veneration. On the Sakya Rasa platform, the devotee sometimes offers the Lord service and sometimes makes Krishna serve one in exchange. For instance, in their mock fighting, the cowherder boys would sometimes climb on Krishna's shoulders, and sometimes the cowherder boys would make Krishna climb on their shoulders. Awe and veneration are absent on the platform of fraternity, since this rasa is predominated by confidential service. Therefore, Sakya Ras is characterized by the qualities of the three rasas. On the platform of Sakya Rasa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is controlled by the devotees who are intimate with Krishna and sometimes think themselves equal to Krishna. Next, on the platform of parental love, the qualities of Shanta Rasa, Dasya Rasa, and Sakya Rasa are transformed into a form of service called maintenance. The essence of fraternal love is intimacy devoid of the formality and veneration found in Dasya Rasa. And due to a greater sense of intimacy, the devotee functioning in parental love sometimes chastises and rebukes the Lord in an ordinary way. On this platform of parental love, the devotee considers oneself the Lord's maintainer. Thus, the Lord becomes the object of maintenance, just like a son. And therefore, this mellow or rasa is full of the four qualities of the four rasas, namely Shanta Rasa, Dasya Rasa, Sakya Rasa, and Vatsalya Rasa. This is even more transcendental nectar. The exchange of spiritual happiness between Krishna and his devotee, in which Krishna is controlled by his devotee, is compared to an ocean of nectar into which both the devotee and Krishna plunge. This is the verdict of learned scholars who appreciate Krishna's opulence. Finally, on the platform of Madhurya Rasa, conjugal love, attachment for Krishna, rendering service unto Krishna, the relaxed feelings of fraternity, and the feelings of maintenance all increase in intimacy. On the platform of Madhurya Rasa, or conjugal love, the devotee offers one's own body in the service of the Lord. Thus, on this platform, the transcendental qualities of all five rasas are present. In order to understand this, the following example is given. All the material qualities evolve one after another in the material elements, beginning from ether. And by gradual evolution, first one quality develops, then two qualities develop, then three and four, until all five qualities are found in earth. So similarly, on the platform of Madhurya Rasa, or conjugal love, all the feelings of the devotees are amalgamated. This intensified taste is certainly wonderful. Lord Chaitanya then concluded, I have simply given a general survey describing the mellows of devotional service. Now, you may consider how to adjust and expand this. When one thinks of Krishna constantly, love for Krishna manifests within the heart. I love that statement. That statement by Lord Chaitanya is beautiful. When one thinks of Krishna constantly, love for Krishna manifests within the heart. Even though one may be ignorant, one can reach the far shore of the ocean of transcendental love by Lord Krishna's mercy. So after saying this, Lord Chaitanya embraced Rupa Goswami, and then Lord Chaitanya decided to go to the city of Benares, where he was to meet up with Rupa Goswami's elder brother, Sanatan. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. So our final episode for today, scene number 34, is entitled Our Original Position. So for those of you who joined late, next week will be our final class on these prayers of the personified Vedas. And we will celebrate, and I will sing a very special song in commemoration with us finishing this prayers of the personified Vedas, which has taken us months. So it has been a marathon, and you all are to be congratulated for sticking with the yajna, sticking with the process. And I think some of you have realized how your transcendental knowledge now has greatly expanded. Because when I hear your realizations at the end of the class, I become stupefied. I am so impressed with your advanced realizations. So, bravo, bravo. So next week will be our final class on prayers of the personified Vedas, not Krishna book. We still have 88, 89, 90, and then I've added a few more chapters which deal with Krishna's disappearance. So stay tuned. All right. So let's do now scene number 34, our original position. The verses of the Veda Stuti are to be considered the essence of all Vedic knowledge. The four Kumaras and all other authorized sages know perfectly that devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the essence of all Vedic literatures. I will repeat. Devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the essence of all Vedic literatures. And the four Kumaras are preaching this in all different planets traveling in outer space. It is stated herein that such sages, including Narada Muni, hardly ever travel on land, for they are perpetually traveling in outer space. Sages like Narada and the four Kumaras travel throughout the universe in order to educate conditioned souls and show them that their business in this material world should not be that of sense gratification. Instead, it should be reinstating themselves again in their original position of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is stated in several places that the living entities are like sparks of a fire, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is like the fire itself. Somehow or other, when the sparks fall out of the fire, they lose their natural illumination. Thus, it is ascertained that the living entities come into this material world exactly as sparks falling from a great fire. According to the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Brahma, on behalf of the demigods, once approached Lord Vishnu with the following prayer. Ahang giritrascha suradayo ye dakshadayognir ivaketavaste Kingva vidamesha pritag vibata vidhatsvashangno dvidadeva mantram. O Lord Hari, I myself, Lord Shiva, and all the demigods, accompanied by the Prajapatis like Daksha, are nothing but sparks illuminated by you. For you are the original fire. Since we are only particles of you, what can we understand about our own welfare? O Supreme Lord, give us that means of deliverance which is suitable for brahmanas and demigods. The living entity wants to imitate Krishna, and so the living entity tries to lord it over material nature. Thus, he or she forgets one's original position, and one forgets one's illuminating power and one's spiritual identity, which all become extinguished. However, if a living entity takes to Krishna consciousness, he or she is reinstated. That word is so important. Reinstated in his or her original position. I cannot emphasize this sentence enough. Reinstated. Sages and saints like Narada and the four Kumaras are traveling all over the universe, educating people and encouraging their disciples to preach this process of devotional service so that all the conditioned souls may be able to revive. There's another word that is very important. Revive their original consciousness or Krishna consciousness, and thus gain relief from the miserable conditions of material life. So these two words, revive and reinstate, are repeatedly used by Prabhupada throughout his books, because one of Prabhupada's main philosophical pillars is that originally we were with Krishna in service. We gave up our service attitude, and immediately Maya took us, and more we forget our original position of service to God. But as Prabhupada has said so many times in Krishna book, that by engaging in devotional service, we revive, we get reinstated, reconnected with Krishna. So, this next part, hold on a second. This next part is all about this concept of reinstatement. Unless one is reinstated in one's own constitutional position, notice, own. Each of us has our own constitutional position. Unless one is reinstated in one's own constitutional position, it is not possible to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead or to be fully engaged in Krishna's transcendental loving service with determination. The word mukti means to be reinstated in one's original spiritual status after giving up the material conception of life. Therefore, human life is specifically meant for qualifying ourselves for this spiritual liberty. Unfortunately, under the influence of the illusory material energy, we accept this spotlight of only a few years as our permanent existence. And thus we become illusioned by possessing a so-called country, home, land, children, wife, community, wealth, etc., etc., which are only false representations created by Maya, illusion. And under the dictation of Maya, we fight with one another to protect these false possessions. By cultivating spiritual knowledge, we can realize that we have nothing to do with all of this material paraphernalia. Then at once we become free from material attachment. This clearance of the misgivings of material existence at once takes place by association with devotees of the Lord who are able to inject transcendental sound into the depths of the bewildered heart and thus make one practically liberated from all lamentation and illusion. That is a summary of the pacifying measures for those affected by the reaction of the stringent material laws exhibited in the forms of Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, birth, death, old age, and disease, which are insoluble factors of material existence. As we have already several times discussed, pure self-realization is the pure consciousness of admitting oneself to be the eternal servitor of Krishna. Thus, one is reinstated in his or her original position of transcendental loving service to the Lord. The stage of rendering transcendental loving service to the Lord without any hopes of emolument from the Lord or any other way can be attained when the material senses are purified and the original pure state of the senses is revived. As stated by Narada Muni, who says, Tat padat vena nirmalam. In the material world, the spirit of enjoyment of the living entities, by dint of their own actions or karma, gradually fades by the laws of nature. And thus the illusory energy dictates in the ears of the conditioned souls that they should now try to become one with the Lord. This is the last snare of the illusory energy. I have to repeat that because that's also one of Prabhupada's fundamental philosophical principles. The illusory energy dictates in the ears of the conditioned soul that they should try to become one with Krishna. That is the last snare of the illusory energy, Maya. Now, when that last illusion is also cleared off by the mercy of the Lord, the living entity again becomes reinstated in his or her original position and thus becomes actually liberated. Wow, this section is so fantastic. I can give a whole lecture just on this section of reinstatement. I'm making a note to myself that in an upcoming Sunday feast lecture somewhere, this is what I'm going. This is fantastic. Prabhupada, you're the transcendental genius. Prabhupada continues. The word Swarajyam, which means complete independence, is very significant. A conditioned soul does not know what complete independence actually is. Complete independence means situation in one's own constitutional position. The real independence of a living entity who is part and parcel of God is to always remain dependent on Krishna, just like a child who plays in complete independence, guided over by its parents who watch over the child. The independence of the conditioned soul does not mean to fight with the obstacles offered by Maya. No, it means to surrender to Krishna. In the material world, everyone is trying to become completely independent simply by fighting against the obstacles offered by Maya. This is described in chapter 15 by Krishna in his Gita by the words Prakriti Stani Karshati. This is what is known as the struggle for existence, trying to become independent by fighting against the obstacles of Maya. But real independence is to be reinstated in the service of Krishna. Anyone who goes to the Vaikuntha planets or Goloka Vrindavan planet is freely offering his or her service to the Lord. That is complete independence. And just contrary to this is material overlordship, which we wrongly take to be independence. Many political leaders have sought to establish independence, but due to such so-called independence, the people's dependence has only increased. The living entity cannot be happy trying to be independent in the material world. One has to surrender, therefore, unto the lotus feet of the Lord and engage in one's, here it is again, original eternal service to Krishna. So if you notice, Prabhupada repeats things, and that is to emphasize and stress and to drive home important points. Prabhupada's expert teacher, by repeating things throughout, the most important concepts are understood. Prabhupada continues. All living entities within this material world are undergoing the cycle of birth and death according to the laws of nature. The struggle of birth and death in different species, that may be called the evolutionary process. But in the Western world, it has been wrongly explained. For instance, Darwin's theory of evolution from animal to man is incomplete because Darwin's theory does not present the reverse condition, namely evolution from man to animal. However, factual evolution has been very well explained on the strength of Vedic authority. Human life, which is obtained in the course of the evolutionary process, is a chance for elevation, known as svarga pavarga, or for degradation, tirascham purna asyacha. If one uses this human form of life properly, he or she can elevate oneself to the higher planetary systems where material happiness is many thousands of times better than on this planet Earth. Or one may cultivate knowledge by which one can become free from the material evolutionary process, and here it is, be reinstated in one's original spiritual life. This is called apavarga, or liberation. Material life is called pavarga because we are subject to 5 different states of suffering, and these are represented by the Sanskrit letters pa, fa, ba, bha, and ma. So anyone who has studied Sanskrit, you know there are so many consonants, so many vowels, and there are certain lines. So this is one group. I forget the technical name for this group. Pa, pa, ba, ba, and ma. Now Prabhupada explains. The syllable pa stands for parishrama, very hard labor. The word fa, or means fena, or foam from the mouth. For example, sometimes we see a horse foaming at the mouth because of heavy labor. The next syllable, ba, means vyarthata, disappointment. For in spite of so much hard labor, in the end, we simply find disappointment. The word ba means bhaya, or fear. In material life, one is always in the blazing fire of fear, since no one knows what will happen next. Finally, the syllable ma means mrityu, or death. So this is what is known as pavarga. Pavarga Vartmani, the path of material existence, because it ends in death. Now Prabhupada says, when one attempts to nullify these 5 different statuses of material life, pa, fa, ba, ba, and ma, one achieves apavarga, or liberation from the punishment of material existence. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right? Now it's time for the insurance policy. Namaste Narasimhaya, Praklada Klada Dayane, Hiranya Kashi Purvaksha, Padat Kanka Kalaye Ito Narsingha Parato Narsingho Yato Yato Yamitato Narsingha Bahir Narsingha Hridaye Narsingho Narsingham Ading Sharanang Prapadye Tavakara Kamala Hare Nakam Aduta Sringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam Keshavadrita Narahadi Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Keshavadrita Nrsimha Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadish Jaya Jagadish Jaya Jagadisha Hare Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. So now the final two verses of Damodar Ashtaka. Kuberatma Jau Badha Murtyai Vayadva Twaya Mochi Tao Bhakti Bhajau Kri Tao Cha Tata Prema Bhakti Swakang Me Prayachcha Na Mokshe Graho Mesti Damodareha Kuveratma Jobada Murtyai Vayadvat Twaya Mochi Tao Bhakti Bhajau Tao Cha Katha Prema Bhakti Swakang Me Prayachcha Na Mokshe Grahomexti Damodareha Namaste Stu Damne Spuradipti Damne Twadioda Rayata Vishvasya Damne Namo Radhikayai Twadiya Priyayai Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Namaste Stu Damne Spuradipti Damne Tvadiyo Dharayata Vishvasya Damne Namo Radhikayai Tvadiya Priyayai Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam. O Lord Damodara, just as the two sons of Kuvera, namely Manigriva and Nalakuvara, were delivered from the curse of Narada and made into great devotees by you in your form as Damodar, a baby tied with a rope to a wooden grinding mortar, please, in the same way, give to me your own prema bhakti. I long for this only and have no desire for any kind of liberation. O Lord Damodara, I first of all offer my obeisances to the brilliantly effulgent rope which binds your transcendental belly. Then, I offer my obeisances to your transcendental belly, which is the abode of the entire universe. I also humbly bow down to your most beloved Srimati Radharani. And lastly, I offer my obeisances unto you, Krishna, the Supreme Lord, who displays unlimited pastimes. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Tat Sat.